Hello, viewers, and welcome to the latest episode of The Huddle. Today I'm speaking with Roy Greenbaum, founder and CEO of Awager. Roy, thanks for joining us.
Hey, good morning. Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Lots of interesting topics we're going to talk about today. We're going to be talking about Awager as a company, live slots, Omnichannel, and that kind of thing. But I wanted to ask about your journey, first of all. You grew up in Israel and you attended university in Toronto. Plenty of interesting stories, I'm sure. Tell us a little bit about your journey kind of overall.
Wow, well, that's a long one. But to be honest, very unique journey. Took me all around the globe. Started off obviously with my service in the Israeli Navy. Later on, after a meaningful service, going out and deciding to go and actually move with then my wife to Toronto. Great experience there. Met a lot of great people over there. So eye-opening. Coming back to Israel, having a great chance to join a company like 888 at a very pivotal moment in its history when instead of doing everything in-house, suddenly a lot of external third-party content was introduced into the mix. And from that point on, actually immersing myself into the gaming industry, leaving 888 around 2010, and then starting together with my business partner what was then Softweave, and basically stayed with Softweave in its different forms up until today for about 15 years.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned 888, obviously a central part of your journey, so why wouldn't you? Obviously, this company came about with a few kind of experts from 888 joining together. Before we get more into Awager, I wanted to maybe ask you about how you view 888 as someone who was quite important in the company and looking at his journey since. Obviously, it's Evoke now, led by Per Widerström. Just wanted to ask you your thoughts on 888 within the market and Evoke now.
So I think 888, obviously being one of the founding fathers of our industry, is such a meaningful part of my personal professional life. But I think in general, a big part, you look at all of the different people from 888 that has been spread around different areas of the industry, doing amazing things. I think it has a lot of very specific DNA in that company. I do believe it resonates today as well in everything they're doing. Obviously, they've done some changes with the merger with William Hill and everything. So I believe that they're a strong company and will do very well. But I have definitely a very warm point in my heart for 888 and the great things that I've gained from when I've worked there and the people I've met. And this is why we're actually bringing people from that organization, and those are people I've known for years.
Yeah, I'm sure there's lessons, experience, and as you say, talent that's been brought in from one side to the other. But getting into the heart of it now, Awager, on the Awager website. So we're talking Omnichannel here to introduce kind of a wider audience. On the website, there's a couple of really cool phrases. Electronic gaming machines transcending the limitations of location. I really like that phrase. Kind of wish I came up with it myself, to be honest. And standing at the gateway of the next era of iGaming. Tell us more about what exactly those kind of phrases mean.
So basically, when you're looking at what we're doing here with Awager, Omnichannel obviously very popular. This is the base in the understanding that the cross-sell between land-based and online is so unsubstantial at this point. Even today, here I am in early morning in New Jersey, in Atlantic City, where you see a real celebration of online, the online industry, while looking at what's happening in the same time in land-based. And even in this market, you see very minimal. I think it's sub 10% cross-sell between land-based and online players. Now, that doesn't make any sense. Now, Omnichannel has been approached from so many different angles, but at the end of the day, we are trying to create something that is very, very different. We're trying to bring something completely different into the online gaming experience. I always say that Awager is a land-based product. We are a land-based product. If you go and walk in the studio that is now live with here in New Jersey, or with our casino in the Tropicana, or what we're building right now in Europe, you'll see a casino. It's a casino for every intent of purposes, and we're actually taking the land-based experience and we're maintaining land-based experience. We're just making it available through online channels. So we're distributing this through online channel, but the experience is completely land-based. That retains the entertainment values of authenticity and familiarity and trust that come with the land-based experience. And we're seeing that very strongly with the feedback we're getting from customers, both and players and our customers.
Yeah, it's a really interesting point because as we've sort of, I've had conversations before and have been at kind of panels in the industry, and exactly as you say, the word omnichannel usually is used to describe, in essence, a company that has an online division and a land-based division. Omnichannel products themselves are, as you say, quite rare and certainly not as common. And I think what it sounds like the gap in the market that Awager is going after, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you can effectively double your audience if you've got the land-based experience and the online access, as you say, the trust, the familiarity, rather than saying, well, we'll do something for online and we'll do something for land-based.
That's true, and obviously it transcends that with trying to release the same type of games for that matter. So you have a release of a land-based title together with an online title, but even that, in order to take a land-based game and to put it online, you need to significantly make changes to it, so it actually is available online. We don't need to do that. We maintain the same experience, the same level of flexibility and the same level of complexity that the game in the land-based experience has. And that's a big part because we're after those high-value, educated, and well-versed players, casino players, who do not need to be explained what is a casino experience. What they want to have is they want to have the same experience that they're having in the casino floor, just transcending to their mobile device or to their laptop. And that doesn't exist with online today, because even if I take the same game, the experience for the player completely different. And that's exactly the gap that we're now feeling. That's exactly where we're putting ourselves. We're saying it's not only about, those symbols running, it's the whole experience. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Perhaps I could maybe play devil's advocate a little bit and ask, is there a challenge in that, maybe there is a huge segment of players that are used to online slots and don't necessarily need the land-based experience? Will there always be a separation between kind of two different demographics, perhaps? And I know as well in your previous answer that you talked about a high-value player, so perhaps you're looking at a very specific part of the market there.
Yeah, Awager is a value proposition. We are not volume. The fact that we're doing one-on-one immediately means that we need to be able to position ourselves as a high-value proposition for those specific players who do not find themselves do not find a representation of their experience in the online sphere as it is represented right now. They are looking for something different. And that's something that we obviously work closely with our operators to find those right players and to make sure they're bringing. And looking at what we're doing right now in New Jersey, we are completely on the right path with that. We're bringing the right players in and we're seeing that. And you can actually see, it's very clear from a demographic perspective, from a player engagement perspective, from a retention perspective. You see those tiers of players that get it, that find that kind of a thing and say, wow, that's the great thing. And you see them returning with retention rates of 60-70% retention rates, which is bonkers, and average bets which significantly higher than the online average bet. And those players, and there are a lot of them, actually understand the product and actually embrace it significantly, and we're seeing it through their player data.
Mm-hmm. The business model is very clear from everything you're saying, and we've done quite a few interviews here on the Huddle, and what really helps is when a company has a USP and stands out, and certainly what you're outlining, makes it very clear what the company is looking to achieve, and the plan makes sense. Wanted to ask you more about the business, and you mentioned some operators and markets, but I want to ask in 2023 you're also backed by private equity. How did that help the journey and enable maybe more growth or certain things that you couldn't previously do, anything like that?
Yeah, we are very fortunate to have people that believe in our story, believe in what we're doing, believe in our vision. And Oak Tree Capital was one of those believers, and they took us very early on when we understood that as a startup, we've taken that product as far as we could. And if we're really serious about creating a top tier, best of breed product, and really driving innovation in a complete manner, we need the right kind of partners and the right kind of backing. And that's where we were so fortunate to have Oak Tree and have an open discussion. That the process was fairly quick. We've from beginning to end, it was less than 6 months, and we were already up and running. And that actually opened a lot of opportunities for us to, as I said, up to that point, we had a cool technology and a really robust solution, but we didn't really have a product. And then what this collaboration allowed us is to actually sustain a real product and launch it with the biggest names in the industry to date.
Yeah, Oak Tree, plenty of gaming expertise, obviously kind of with Interblock as well, ETGs. So yeah, certainly I can see how that helped enable a lot for you. You mentioned operators and US. I don't know if you have any examples of kind of the operators you're working with, but what's been your main kind of highlight here? What have you learned from the process of partnering with operators in the US?
Once again, we were very, 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 I don't know, lucky is not the right word. We had real partnerships with our operators, and it took a lot of back and forth because this concept is so different. And for them to be willing to, to do this leap of faith and give us that kind of bandwidth from their perspective and budget, and obviously, and that kind of support was huge for us. And we went through each individual partner had their own process in place to get him into that comfortable position. But we really value this kind of relationship with them. We're working through the things as we're rolling them out. FanDuel is live, Caesars is live, BetMGM is in the making, and hopefully will be live within the next few weeks. So those are great examples, great brand names, great partners to have. Each one of them with its own different path, because we are such a unique product, and it's not a one size fits all. It's not a cookie cutter solution, and that actually resonates with everything we're doing, starting between the machine choice, the way that we're actually building out the spaces, the type of a player journey that we offer. And we knew that we need that because when you're driving new innovative solution, truly innovative solutions, you need to be able to have that level of flexibility. And I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, in terms of managing the process and working with these operators, from what you've outlined there, it sounds like there's a degree of kind of customization for each. And certainly, as you say, maybe no one day is the same, probably working with kind of operators of that size and that legacy as well.
Completely, especially for a small company like ours. Look, we're 80 people, and it's so easy to overpower us by brand names of that size. And now that we're going into Europe, obviously we're pairing up with big names over there as well. So we need to be very smart in what we do. We need to be very smart in the way that we are obviously approaching. We absolutely have an operator first approach in everything that we're doing. When we do a launch, we want to make very, very focused on making it very, very successful. We've done it to date and we'll continue to do that, because at the end of the day, as we said, driving innovation as a B2B supplier has a lot to do on your ability to actually work together with the different operators and understand their specific needs. And our team here in the US, together with Warren Stevens and the rest of the team, as well as the team that we're now finalizing and building in Europe with Matthias, on the other hand, are actually going towards exactly that, creating that kind of a special, customized solution that will generate the best out of the product in the with the different operators.
A really nice segue into what I was going to ask you next. We're going to move into Europe, so to speak. You've got a studio in the making in the EU. Can you tell us about your plans in Europe? And I suppose as well, how big is the gap in the market in Europe that we talked about earlier in terms of a true omnichannel product?
That's a great question. Europe is a different DNA. Obviously, being a much more mature online market, seen it all, done it all, and obviously, if it's easy enough to see the difference when you walk into a European casino versus if you walk into any US-based casino. They did a survey just recently looking at how many of the people of certain jurisdictions actually went to a casino, brick and mortar or land-based casino in the past year, and how many plan to be visiting. So if you look at the US, it's 40-60% visited and around 60% who plan to go. If you look at Europe, you go down to as much as 7% or 8%. So face value, one would say, where is that? And obviously what we've done is we've looked at that, and we still strongly believe that the product has a lot of merit in Europe, and the ability for us to create a cross sale between land-based and online. In Europe, it doesn't exist at all. Those 10 or 7% we discussed about New Jersey earlier, that is absolutely not available. But we need to remember, Europe is also betting shops. Europe is also so many different things. The arcades in the markets like the Netherlands, Spain. There are so many different ways. And a big part of what we're doing is we're offering localized content. And the ability to drive localized content and getting that kind of type of familiarity, that kind of trust, that kind of immersive experience will resonate much stronger in Europe. But we're most definitely working towards a different sense of the same values of our product that we have here.
Yeah, you can see how a big total addressable market is building across kind of Europe and US. Looking ahead, a final area for me, really, given everything we've talked about, the business model, Europe, the US, what's the very next step for Awager? And in terms of future goals, I guess we're looking at Q4, but also 2026 and beyond.
Completely. We had an amazing launches both in New Jersey with two of the customers. We want to roll out. From my perspective, 2025 is all about a launch. It's all about go live. It's all about making this dream or this concept, proving that concept on this scale in this market that we've chosen, New Jersey. But 2026 is all about growth. It's all about getting out there to the different markets that we value as target markets, getting the right footprint in those different markets. Obviously, bringing a completely new concept requires us to be very smart in the way that we're discussing things with the regulators and with obviously the operators, and finding those special attributes in each market. And that's a lot of work for us. But I think we're in a great position to do that. Company is going to go towards a growth focus at this point, while maintaining obviously an operator first approach and the best care and services to our customers. But those are the main things, and we are building a global brand and a global segment within the iGaming industry, and that's what we're setting up to do.
Well, Roy, thanks very much for your time. Best of luck with everything you're looking to achieve. As I say, it's a really interesting intersection of the kind of the two ideas within the industry, and definitely this has been quite a refreshing and interesting concept to talk about. So thanks again for your time, and best of luck with everything.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Yeah, and to our viewers as well, thanks for watching, and see you next time.